Welcome back to the Jeremy Scott Fitness Podcast Radio Show, coming to you on this Sunday, June 29th, 2025. Hopefully it finds you staying safe and staying sweaty all at the same time. On today's episode, we are talking about the top 5 mistakes I have seen clients and athletes make here over the past 20 years and how we have fixed them and try to fix them and work with them on these problems as we go. Originally, I had a podcast guest scheduled here for today, but sometimes people don't check their calendars. And so here we are on a solo journey today. And I'll leave it at that. But I'm going to deal with it later. Anyways, housekeeping things before I jump in. One, Jeremy Scott Fitness app, you guys know, is live. You can always get a week for free on me. All my weekly workouts are loaded every Sunday. They'll be up here in the next couple of hours if you're listening to this in real time. The Summer Advanced Metcon is coming to an end right now. After that, we are going to load this old school 34-day to fit program into the app. This is a program I did, I want to say about 7 years ago with myself, Alexia Clark, Ben Novak's on there, Tommy Baker's on there, and Nikki Metzger is on there as well. And each one of us kind of take a week, do our thing, and we deliver it to you guys. So that's the next program in the app. It's going to be 100% for free. It'll live in there. It used to be a challenge we ran, I believe, like in 2018, 2019 timeframe. So if I look much younger in there, it's because I am much younger. So there's that. That's coming to the app. And then we got a couple other, like a mastery mobility piece. And then I'm working on a 50 days of fitness for the end of the year. And then I don't want to say like maybe the part 2 to Old Man Strength is going to come out early 26, which I still have to film and do all that stuff here sometime this summer. But that's all on the docket. So if you guys are looking for a program and just something to follow along, easy plug and play, hop in the app, jeremyscottfitness.app. You get a week for free on me always. And that is that. Also, shout out to my homies at AG1. The new version is out and it's live. More probiotic heavy, better for your gut health, digestion. Like it wasn't great already, but now it's the enhanced version of that. I do think the taste is even better than it was before, which I always thought it was the best tasting on the market. If you guys want a free sample, hit me up. I'll have Monica send you a pack right to your front door. This bad boy replaces your multivitamin and the need to travel with 15 other pills. It's summertime here. I've been traveling quite a bit. It's the one thing I always take with me. I just grab a travel pack, rip it, throw it in water, shake it, and I'm good to go. Now they come in the kind of electrolyte style tube, so they're even easier to travel with. And if you guys want to pick some up, we'll give you a year supply of free vitamin D3 and K2 with your first order and 5 free travel packs as well. You just go to the site, drinkag1.com/Jeremy Scott. The link is also in the show notes. Otherwise, hit me up for the free samples and we'll mail them right to you. You can try them, and if you like them, we'll hook you up with all the free stuff on top of that. Nobody else is doing that, but I'm happy to do it to help you guys out. Otherwise, just head below, quick, pick some up today. Solve a bunch of your problems, get rid of 18 different pills, save yourself some time and some money. drinkag1.com/Jeremy Scott today. Other than that, all the other stuff in the show notes are creatine, always 10% off from Substance Nutrition. And then my homies at JLab Pro, where we get our protein, turmeric, collagen, and krill oils. We always have deals going with those guys. And I think that's it for today. So, what is going on, everybody? It is Sunday here. Just got done with our last Sunday Advanced Metcon of Q2 here. Shout out to my man Jeremy Williams, who won the overall title and the men's title. And then my girl Sarah took home the women's title. I think for Sarah, that's like, I don't know, like 10 championships, which is kind of crazy. I think for Jeremy, I think that's 4. He won the prize money. It's like 400 some bucks, plus a bunch of loose change I threw in there, and a gift card to Dutch Bros. And he re-put his 20 bucks back in there. So that just happened. So he did, what did he do today? He did 21,000 meters on the erg bike. To take that bad boy home, I rode 10,000 meters, which took me about 39 minutes and 50 seconds, which sucked. I should have wore a butt pad because my ass hurts right now. I was going to grab the pad, but I didn't. And so now I was already like 10 minutes in. I'm like, if I get up, I'm not going to make it. So you just kind of gut it out. It's, just grinding it out on your leather ass for 40 minutes is what I did. But anyways, that's what's going on in-house here today. And like I said, going to have a guest on, but scheduling got mixed up. So we're on a solo journey today. To two quick things. One, I was talking to Sean, my cameraman, about this before I hopped on. In fitness in general, it's crazy to me, and this is just a side note because I saw this video. A lot of people do this in fitness now. They'll take a video of somebody else, they'll superimpose their face on it, and then they'll start talking about that person in the video, whether it's talking shit about them or what they're doing. Typically, it's in a negative light, like, oh, so-and-so's training this way, or they're eating this way, or they look this way, or they're saying this, and their content becomes just like a shit talking. And I understand that's great for clicks and likes and comments. I've never done that. I don't personally care for it. I'm not judging anybody. Make your money how you make it. I've also never left like a negative comment on anything. I almost did this week, but I didn't. I got a side note, a video sent to me from BG Gaddour. It was Tyrese Halliburton from the Pacers. Obviously tore his Achilles in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. And like a mutual buddy of ours is actually his trainer. And this other fitness coach made a video basically just showing Tyrese Halliburton, video clips of him exercising, working out in our buddy's gym, and proceeded to say, hey, this is why he tore his Achilles. If he would have been training, my way, he wouldn't have trained it. Here's my, free ebook. And basically this dude, who I think is a piece of shit, you're trying to profit off of somebody, tearing their Achilles, which is disgusting, and then saying like your training method could somehow like fix that or it wouldn't have happened. Like, do you know how impossible that sounds? Like, there's no way any of us can completely prevent injury or have any idea all the nuances that go into that. It wasn't because he went past, 90-degree flexion. It wasn't because he wore a certain kind of shoes. It's like, the dude's a pro athlete. He plays, 72 regular season games plus the practices, plus he's in the Olympics. Genetics, timing, you name it. Wrong place, wrong time. All the things have to kind of add up for those, catastrophic injuries to happen. But to say like, the reason and what you could pinpoint it, and oh, by the way, grab my ebook, like that's a scumbag move. And I'm not. A lot of you fitness guys who listen to this, that's not what you do, and I'm not telling you what to do. But I don't think that's a great long-term plan or play for your business to sit and just talk shit about everybody and their brother, unless you want to do that for the next 30 years. And I don't think you probably have, the motivation to do that, nor do I think it's a great business model. But that's just my 2 cents in the world on social media. On top of that, what else is going on? I watched the Prestige the other day. Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman, Scarlett Johansson, Michael Caine. Sean's here, my camera guy. He doesn't watch any movies, so I'm trying to point out like some of the most epic films. He's never seen Tombstone, which is embarrassing. What else haven't you seen? Tombstone and what else? What were we talking about earlier? It was something else amazing. You haven't seen Kingpin or Tombstone? That's crazy, dude. I think he's probably a terrorist. It's insane. But anyways, I watched The Prestige. If you guys have never seen it, it's a Christopher Nolan movie, all time. Christian Bale, the GOAT. I would say one of the most underrated movies of all time, if not like arguably the most underrated movie of all time. If you're somebody who is into like a film about extreme like dedication and sacrifice and doing everything in your power to achieve a goal at all costs, no matter what it is, like that's your movie. If you're a person who likes the, Michael Jordan kind of Kobe Bryant mentality, that Rocky IV, I'm going to, do this thing and basically I'm willing to die to get the goal, that's it. Prestige. The Prestige. You'll see it. It's legit. Anyways, that's what I had going on the other day. My private group text talking about old school movies that are motivating. So anyways, hopefully this finds you guys rocking. We are going to talk the top 5 mistakes our clients used to make. Many of them now, not so much. And kind of how we fix them. So again, whether it's, dropping body fat or gaining muscle, or you're just trying to live, lean all year round, improve mobility, increase the strength. I'm going to talk about a handful of each, and then at the end, I'll do the most important one, which I think for people is how can I live, as strong and as lean and as mobile as possible consistently. I'm not against, competing and jumping on stage or, getting ripped or shredded for like a vacation or a wedding. I'm all for having the external motivators. I think those things are great. But I'm more concerned about what can you do long term. And there's going to be seasons, right? There's times where you're in a calorie deficit. There's times you're in a surplus. There's times you're at maintenance. And it's up to you how you want to navigate that, depending on, how you feel, how's your sleep, what your hormones are like, what your goals are. But for the most part, I like to focus on longevity and sustainable things you can do today, tomorrow, and when you're 75 years old. As long as it's scalable, I think it's cool. And I'm not saying there's things you're doing today at 27 that you should quit doing because you won't be able to do them at 87, but just ask yourself, unless it's like sport specific, or it's career specific, like why are you chasing this and why does it matter to you? And as long as you have an answer for that and the juice is worth the squeeze for you, I'm all for going, chips in on that. But have that conversation, ask the question. So if you're trying to live, under 10% body fat all year round, why do you want to do that? If you sell insurance or you're a real estate agent or you're an accountant, why does that matter to you? Or you really, want to run a sub, 6-minute mile, or you want to be able to dunk a basketball, or you want to be, able to hit your driver 300 plus yards. Like, why do those things matter? What does the training look like? And what are you willing to do to get there? And what is it going to cost you? Not just in terms of, money, but more importantly, time, effort, energy. And are you sacrificing other things on one hand to obviously get something on the other hand? So the first one, the biggest thing we see, and most of you guys know this, and this is probably the biggest Achilles heel for most people, is just trying to kind of like out-train a poor diet or a bad diet, or trying to out-train a calorie surplus. And a lot of people, especially when they show up here, or at least early on in their training, they think, well, if I work hard enough, I can kind of eat whatever I want. And that is true to a certain point. When you're younger, and your lifestyle is different, it's easier. When you have more muscle on your body, it is easier. When you have less stress and less responsibilities, that's easier. In the example I give in like my adult life, like when I was younger, for sure, going to, whether it's high school and college, and you're, going to basketball practice for hours a day, which is essentially the essence of interval training, if you will. And then there's a conditioning piece on top of that. You're lifting weights on top of that. You're kind of always in a calorie deficit. And so obviously, from start of the season to end of the season, I typically would weigh significantly less because there's just so much work going on to the body. Also, the sleep, even if I wouldn't go to sleep at the proper time, I'm getting way more hours of sleep and uninterrupted sleep. And obviously, you don't have, pets and a wife and kids and shit going on. You're just a dude playing sports, going to a couple classes a week. So it's a great environment. So that's an easy way to do it. But for most of you, you're not going to a sports practice, 3-4 hours a day, every day. And in my adult life, filming bigger fitness programs for somebody like a Men's Health, where you show up on set and they're follow along workouts, and you're filming 3 to 4 of these high intensity metabolic workouts a day, every day for, 5 or 6 days in a row, you can pretty much eat whatever the fuck you want. You can eat burgers, fries, cookies, and still be completely shredded. Now, at the end of the week, your body feels like it's going to break down, and you oftentimes end up getting sick because your immune system is taking a hit because the workload is so much. Or if you're like an Olympian or somebody like that, where you're training for hours and hours and hours a day. But for a normal person, and even and just an average adult with any type of job, even if it's what I do, you're not going to out-train the diet. It's just not going to happen. Training does burn calories, obviously. So does just being alive and breathing. But for most people, it's not enough to offset a weekend of bad eating. You can't outlift or outrun, your fork or the booze you drank for the most part. Just for the fact of the calories add up so quickly when you do start to look at them. And I've had dudes here for years who would do really well Monday through Friday, at a slight, calorie deficit, 3 to maybe, 400, 500 calories per day. So over the course of 5 days, they're running anywhere from, 1,500 to 2,500 calories at a deficit, which is great. The problem is they're having 5,000, 6,000 calorie days on Saturday and Sunday. And so now that 2,500 deficit for them, which the baseline for them, let's say was, I don't know, 3,000 calories per day. Now they're in a surplus a couple thousand calories. So even though they're having 5 great days, those 2 days are killing them. Or honestly, the guys who really binge and can go hard, the bigger guys, that one day kills them. They have a 7,000 calorie day, whether that be alcohol or pizza, burgers, fries, chips, cookies, and you name it. The numbers they add up really quick. So for many of you listening, and I know people still try to play that game, they'll wear the trackers, and obviously I wear one more so just for the steps, which again, I can talk about how off those things can be, but I don't look at it for the calorie burn. So like today, if I'm out here working out, I'm already at, let's say, 6,000 plus steps today, plus 40 minutes of rowing. And in that 40-minute row, my calorie burn, I think, was like 700 and, I don't know, 50 some odd calories. Now, for me to go eat 150 calories, it doesn't take a whole hell of a lot. You know what I mean? Like, that's not that many for that output. And people play that game of like, oh, I burned this, now I can eat that. But again, as we know, the trackers can be off by 20, 25%. And the FDA allows labels to be off by 20, 25%. So playing the net game never really works out. And I think a lot of people will be surprised, like how little you can, eat as long as it's the real whole nutrient dense foods and still maintain kind of where you're at. So if you're somebody out there who does great Monday through Friday, you're not losing fat at the clip you want, you're not as lean as you want to be, it's because you're just having these excess days more often than not. Or maybe the cheats are too big, or the things that you're putting in are too calorie dense. The easiest way to do it, at least up front, is to just track your food intake for a full 7 days to get like real feedback in real time. Obviously, we had Chris on here a week ago talk about DEXA scans. I think those things are great right off the top, and even the RMR to kind of get your the resting metabolic rate to see how many calories you burn at rest versus how active you are. But I think for most people, and I'm not saying track every single day, I don't do this, but I did track food for a long, long time, many years actually, before even MyFitnessPal was out, old school pen and paper, just to get a good educational base. But track your food for a week, see where you're at, see what it's really like on Monday, Tuesday, and track everything. If you eat 6 ounces of blackberries, if you have 4 tablespoons of peanut butter, really measure everything out just to see where it falls, to get a real good picture of what's going on. And for most of you, if it can be real food most of the time, obviously you know this. If you're getting a decent amount of protein, really just track it. Am I getting anywhere between 0.5 grams to 1 gram per pound of protein per body weight? And build every single meal around protein, produce, and water. Just wash, rinse, repeat. Obviously, portion control, we can talk about that too. But if it's real food, you guys are going to self-regulate a whole hell of a lot better. And again, MyFitnessPal or like the macro factor stuff, like any of those things where you can log food, is going to be super helpful. And then when you do go off the rails, really just be conscious of that. And if you track those days and you realize like, wow, I thought I was eating 3,000 calories, but it was actually 4,800 calories, and your goal is really to be lean, see where you can make the adjustments in your diet on those days too. So like something I historically used to do back in the day was we would go to this place called Oregano's, which is still here in the Valley. It's a pizza place. And I would go, like a dipshit, and order 2 whole pizzas, eat both pizzas, and then a Pizookie, and then feel like I, was basically pregnant and feel like I wanted to, shit puke by the end of the night. Now I'm in my 40s, my body physically can't do that. I would probably come here and like have it to take a dump on the rower. You know what I'm saying? Like it would be the most disgusting thing of all time. And I'm not willing to wear a diaper, so there's that too. So now if I was to go out and do something similar, we don't really go to Oregano's often anymore. But if I was to go there, I would get like their salads are actually really great there. And I hate to say that because I'm not a salad guy, but they do make a Pablo Picasso salad and their shredded chicken is amazing. So I'll go get a smaller chicken salad there. I'll eat that. So I have some stomach volume filled up. We'll order 1 pizza for 2 of us. And obviously I'm married, so Heather eats about 10% of what I would eat. And then I pretty much call it a night. So it's like I'd eat the salad, I'd eat the pizza, and instead of having like a whole Pizookie, I could do something smaller like at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not be such an asshole. So instead of eating like 7,000 calories, you cut that down to like, 3,000. And albeit like the numbers are beneficial to how lean you can be. But one, I don't feel as bad. I don't feel as bloated, as disgusting, and as gross. And obviously as you get older, at least for me, I do things not so much based on the vanity piece of it, but how I'm going to feel the next day. And obviously, like, there is a built-in factor of like, I do have a baby at my house. So it's like, I don't want that kind of food coma, food hangover, because I got to deal with this little, guy at 2 a.m, and he's not as cute at 2 a.m. Trust me, as he is on Instagram. So there's that piece too. So a lot of times you're making choices, not just of what you look like, but how do you physically feel? And then just trying to tear those cheats down. So still enjoy yourself, have your drinks, have the food you like, but really pick your spots, be mindful of it. Instead of 2 days a week, make it 1 day a week. Instead of having it be 5,000 calories, is there a spot where you can, save yourself a little bit, and maybe not go so hard so you're not in a monster surplus at the end of the week, if fat loss and being leaner really is the goal. Which brings me to point number 2, kind of the all or nothing mentality, which I was guilty of for a long period of time. Either you're 100% strict or you're totally off the rails. And once people go off the rails, there's no way for them to, bring the car back on the road. And I know this is like a popular thing for most people, but it doesn't work. For one, perfection is not sustainable. Whatever perfection even means to you guys or what that looks like, I don't know. But you're not going to eat perfect for the next 300 days. It's just not going to happen. And you're going to have some fuck ups and some slip ups, especially early on. If you're really going to commit to something, the hardest, I would say, that I've seen, and even for myself personally, is when you're starting a new trend, a new habit, a new skill, whether that's like jiu-jitsu or guitar or piano, swimming, mobility, you name it. If you're not good at something and you start, you're putting in a lot of time and you still suck. Like that's the part that's not fun. So when you are been eating like a trash can, and then for the next 4 days you're going to eat really well, it's super annoying because you're not eating the same things you were. They maybe don't taste as good. You're not used to it. You're not getting the same enjoyment from food, but you look the fucking same. And that's going to happen for a good amount of time. And that's the hardest part. If you can get past that hump of, day 7, day 22, day 33, when you start to really feel a change in your performance, and then overall how you look and how you move and how you feel will all kind of come together. But the beginning is very tough. And so I say that to say this: you have to stay on the course, especially when you're having those fuck ups and failures, because one bad meal turns into 2 bad meals, turns into a bad day, turns into a bad weekend, and then obviously that crushes the consistency and it throws people off track. And so what will happen is somebody will fuck up on Thursday at lunchtime at work. They go to insert whatever place people go to lunch. I don't know, McDonald's, whatever. And then they just eat a bunch of bullshit that they didn't plan on eating. And then like, well, fuck it. I didn't eat great today at lunch, so I'm going to just have a shit dinner, and then grab a pizza. And then they wake up and like, well, it's, as my boy Ian used to say, who's been on the podcast, fuck off Friday, where Ian never works on Fridays. He just says fuck off on Friday and doesn't work. I don't even know if he has a job anymore, but he's been to Burning Man a bunch of times, so take from that what you will. Anyways, he would say that. So people fuck up on Thursday, and then Friday, they're like, well, fuck it. It's Friday, dude, and it's the weekend. And now we've turned in that shitty meal on Thursday afternoon to a shitty Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And everybody said this before, I'll start again on Monday. Like Monday's the magic reset. Like Monday has some magic power that like Sunday afternoon doesn't have. But that's the mentality. That's that all or nothing mentality. When one bad decision, that's why I say pancakes at breakfast is the worst fucking choice ever, because everything after that is just downhill. Most people, and I've done this before, most people are not, you have to be a psychopath. Like I've been, obviously now with a kid, it's a little different. I've been on vacation. I was just there, and I'm on the beach with my kid and my wife, enjoying the beach, having a beer. But because of how our schedules were, because I had to sit in the hotel room while my wife went out and paddleboarded, while I changed the kid's diaper, as he's on this bed, he's spitting up on the bed. At the same time, he's had shit his pants, and then he's kicking his little socks in the poop. So now he has shit all over his socks. And at the same time, I'm not kidding you, I have this on video, he's peeing. So he had spit up on himself, leaking onto the couch, pooped his pants, kicking his little feet in the shitty poop, and then he's peed on me, and then he peed on the couch, all at one time. As my wife's sending me a picture, hey, I'm out paddleboarding. I'm like, yeah, must be super fun. And anyways, that morning I had to do that while she could go out and paddleboard. So then we go to the beach, I have a beer. Afterwards, I then come back to the hotel. I go to the gym at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and do my workout. I say that because most people Most normal, rational humans are not going to go to the beach, have a beer, hang out for a couple hours, relax, and then get remotivated at 3 o'clock that same day to go to the hotel gym and train. Like, that's some psychopath shit. But I'm like, I'm willing to do that. Most people won't. Just in the same way, most people aren't going to start off the day with a caramel frappuccino and a blueberry muffin and whatever the fuck at Starbucks, and then they're going to eat salmon and asparagus for dinner. That's just not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that all or nothing mentality that one decision avalanches into a bunch of other bad decisions. If you can stop yourself when you make one bad choice and realize, like, wow, I don't have to make 4 bad choices. I could give you 100 analogies of, like, if you get a flat tire on your car, if you're not going to slash the other 3 tires. But that's what you do when you make one bad decision at breakfast, then let's have a bad snack, a bad lunch, and a bad dinner. That makes no fucking sense. Or if your cell phone dropped on the ground and the screen was cracked, you wouldn't stomp on the phone. But that's what it's the same mentality. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if I was pouring like this water right here, I spilled a little bit and then I just dumped the entire bottle of water out. You'd be like, that's fucking psychotic, right? But we do that with food. Like, we throw away whole days. That's the all or nothing mentality you have to get out of. That's what I think, honestly, that's probably the thing that kills most people over time. Because again, I've talked about this before. If you can control your calorie intake, dude, in this life, you can transform your flesh into pretty much whatever you can dream it to be in terms of what your genetics are going to allow you to do. And that's why I say there's no such thing as perfect. You're going to fuck up. You're going to fail. The people who do the best are the ones who can identify why they fucked up and get right back on. The ones who don't make one error turn into 7 different errors. They just get right back on and they start dominating. So the easiest way to do that is obviously, adopt whatever, percentage rule you have. Hey, I kind of do that 80-20 shit or the 90-10 stuff or whatever, meaning like 90% of the time it's like whole nutrient dense foods. 10% of the time it could be, you're a booze person, or you do more processed stuff, or you just have some flexibility in your diet. And you can draw that line wherever you want to be. Obviously, the more restrictive you are, the more you can, kind of manipulate what your body looks like. And the more loose you are, the more fun you have in terms of food and drink. But then, you can't control your body fat and the muscle you build quite as much. That's up to you guys. But you have to adopt some type of, I'm not saying flexible dieting, but essentially that's what it is. You're flexible and fluid. So you're like, hey, you can have a beer, on a Friday afternoon, and it doesn't turn into, 7 beers that night. Also, you have to let go of the guilt piece, that kind of eater's remorse stuff, that one-off meal. It doesn't mean you failed. If you said you weren't going to have drinks, but you had 2 drinks at dinner, it doesn't mean you're a complete loser. It just means you made a different decision. It's not a big deal. You can't sit and live in the past. You have to just be like, you know what? I don't have eater's remorse or drinker's remorse. It's something I did. Why did I say I wasn't going to do it, and then I did it anyway? What sold me in the moment? Why did I mentally just collapse, or was it worth it? And even though I didn't plan to do it, it was fun. I had a good time, and then I'm just going to keep it moving. That's the big thing. And then, like I mentioned earlier, the never miss twice, never fuck up back to back. It's like, can I just fuck up one time and then bounce back as quick as humanly possible? And that goes for everything. For if you can control, obviously, the sleep thing, don't have, 2 nights of poor sleep back to back if you can help it. Same thing with missing workouts. Same things with, drinking a shit ton of booze, or eating, 2 crappy meals, or having 2 crappy days, things like that. And again, if you plan it, that's fine. Just plan and prep stuff. So if you're taking a trip to see your sister or your brother or like one of your best friends, and you guys like to, like for me, if I go home, I'll go to Minnesota, end of August here. I always see my best friend. We hang out, crack a couple beers. He does 2 for 1 to me because he's built for that life. I'm not anymore. I go, but I'm going to go there and it'll be a Monday, and I'm going to drink beers on a Monday. There's no fucking scenario where I'm here. If Heather comes home and I'm drinking beers on a Monday by myself, she should be nervous. Like, she should call somebody. Something went drastically wrong in my life. But if I do it with my best friend at a restaurant, like, that's cool. I plan for it. I know what's going on. I don't feel bad about it. It's something I enjoy. And you just keep things moving. So you plan and prep those things, but make sure they're not happening back to back to back to back to back. And I'm not telling you how to do your vacation, but if you go on vacation every day, you hit up the pool, put down your towel, and you're smashing Bloody Marys, and finishing the day with beers, at 5 p.m. and you had, 10 drinks a day for 6-7 days in a row, you can't expect your body to look and move and feel, ideal. So take that for what it's worth. The third thing, for most people, just not realizing the low-hanging fruit. And it's the original exercise. It's just walking. A lot of people just kind of dismiss overall daily steps as the easiest thing you can do. We call it NEAT. It's like that non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Basically just means the movement you're doing throughout the day that isn't dedicated to exercise. Now, obviously, like what we do in terms of gyms and exercise is relatively new. Like we didn't do this shit. There wasn't a Jeremy Scott Fitness in 1883. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't a thing. Like you just went out and you fucking worked. Like shout out to my boy David here, on the Amish farm doing the Lord's work. But you just were out there working, you're doing, I don't know, woodworking and shit, or like doing stuff with horses or whatever Amish people would do, or anybody for that matter. Like you're on the Oregon Trail, you're just moving your ass. Like, and if you didn't have a wagon, you had to walk. Like not walking a lot of steps a day is one of the biggest mistakes we see people make. And I do think a lot of people sit for, 8-9 hours a day. I could pull up the stats here. I think we did the other day actually. And the amount of screen time. People are on screens 7+ hours a day. I think I actually put this on my Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look. We put out so much shit here. I get confused. Yeah, the average American. So I'll share this real quick. The average American man gains 1 to 2 pounds a year after age 25. So that's 20 pounds every decade. That's fucking bananas, actually. But that's the real stat. These are all real stats. 74% of U.S. adults are classified as overweight and obese. Over 40% of men fall into the obese category. 50% of men in their 30s and 40s can't do a pull-up, can't squat their own body weight, walk less than 5K steps a day, and spend almost 7 hours a day on screens. Again, no judgment here. I don't really care. But that's bonkers to me. That's become the average. You're not walking 5,000 steps a day, but you're spending almost 7 hours a day on screens. Now, the easiest way for most people, if you're walking 4,000 steps a day, if you could get to 8,000 or 12,000, you're going to lose a substantial amount of weight over the course of 100 days. Like a fucking astonishing number. If your food intake just stays the same as it is today, and you don't even go to a gym, and you walk 4,000 steps a day, you take that to 8 or 12, you're going to just, that's not really how you lose weight, like melt away, but really it is. You're going to obviously breathe it out. But you will be substantially leaner over the course of just 100 days of doing that. Because for most people, when you're sedentary and you're just sitting on your ass, training for an hour a day is not going to be enough. The other 23 hours matter so much more than just that singular hour for overall activity. Not if your goal is to like increase your bench press, obviously, or, have a bigger deadlift or a squat. You have to train for that specific skill. But for most people, the activity throughout the day, the other 23 hours matters so much more than that singular hour, if you're even training for an hour. The low daily movement, when you don't move a lot and you have a low calorie burn, that's going to stall your fat loss. It's going to stall everything for the most part. So again, if you look at your step count, just track it, get a rough estimate on the number. And if it's low, double it. If you're at 3,000, go to 6. If you're at 4, go to 8. Ideally, it could be more than that, but start slow for most of you guys. It could be, if you got a dog, take your dog for a walk. Obviously, we're in Arizona right now. It's like, Earth's fucking oven most of the day. So I take my dog for a walk. Today we're out there at like 5:40, which is cool. And we walked like about 2-mile loop. It's about, 4,000 plus steps just right there. Done. Didn't take a whole hell of a lot of time, maybe 30-ish minutes, give or take, not even a half hour. Or take a 10-minute walk, before or after meals. If you can get a stand-up desk or like one of those little walking treadmills at the desk, it's great. Or just take a break from your shit and walk around for 2 minutes at a time. And again, you can track them with the phone, track them with the watch. Obviously, what I do is different here. I know I shared this not that long ago. My overall step count since having a kid has increased dramatically because when you put him down, he cries. So there's that, and it's not ideal for me. So far this year, I have walked 2,254,000 steps. That's an average of 12,523 steps a day. I had a kid at the end of April. My steps in May were 13,700 on average, and so far in June they're 14,025. So it's a lot. So what does that do for me? I do feel better when I walk more. There is especially when it's just my dog or when I'm just pushing my kid and he's not screaming like a terrorist. Um, I do have there's some creative thoughts that come into my head, which I don't have that many good thoughts, so this is helpful for me. And it's an easier way for me to just burn calories, obviously, and it buys me space on food. So if I want to eat something that's a little bit more calorie dense, maybe it's not on my diet, it easily fits in. I don't feel like I'm dying on an assault bike. I don't feel like I'm having to, squeeze out extra exercise. It just adds up. So again, if I put a ruck on, even if I don't have a ruck on and you're walking with your dog, because your dog typically walks at a faster pace than you, at least I have a golden retriever. That's what she does. It's just like nice zone 2 work. It's really easy, brainless zone 2 work just to get out. And if you can get outside, be in nature, I think it's great. But for a lot of people, just not moving enough through the day, and it doesn't just have to be steps. It can be just hanging from a pull-up bar. It can be doing mobility stuff. Any type of movement is great. Being in your pool, just moving around more. But for most people, not walking enough is the biggest thing that stalls their fat loss. And I don't know. It seems pretty simple to me. And I'll die on that hill of like the other 23 hours of your day matter more than the 1 hour you train. Even if you do train hard as hell, I just think it's not enough overall movement for most people. And again, I know those people are out there, but it's rare you find someone who just dies in the gym for an hour, like gives max fucking effort, and then doesn't move at all the rest of the day. Like it's really rare. It kind of all bleeds into each other. Now, if you have a job where you're sedentary and you have to be there, that sucks. But you got to steal the time in between, before work, during work, after work, any way you can. Number 4, which is a huge one, the neglecting sleep and obviously the overstress stuff. And obviously those two things kind of, tie together. You train super hard, but you're always tired. You're always super stressed and you're never recovering. Now you're going to have seasons of that in life for sure. Obviously having a newborn kid at home will do it. If you got a puppy at home, you're dealing with some type of trauma or loss or any different, kind of season of life. Like that stuff's, it's tough. And obviously that's going to happen. So I think when you have poor sleep, when you have high stress and you have increased cortisol, you have increased cravings, you have more fat storage going on, even when you have solid workouts, it's just, you're never going to be your best when the sleep is not optimal. And I know it's hard. I don't have all the answers. We've done, a bunch of different episodes on sleep and how to maximize it and how to keep them their best. I guess the big thing is, one, prioritize just sleep, 6 to 8, like quality hours a night would be ideal. I think they say like 7 to 9. I got a newborn kid at home. That shit ain't happening. And steal it when you can. If you can take naps, I think naps are great too. But building that that type of nighttime routine, which we've talked about a lot, no screens, dim the lights, any type of just whatever relaxes you, not eating huge meals before bed, not pounding a bunch of alcohol, limit the caffeine later in the day if that's something that keeps you up, get the morning sunlight, all the normal shit. And then obviously whatever helps you guys, relieve stress. Some people it's walking, some people it's journaling, some people it's breathing. It might be, 5 minutes of silence, or like my dude, Akshay, it might be 7 days in a dark room by yourself, I don't know, whatever you're into. But I do think for most people, and I know I've said this a lot in here, having 2 bad nights or 3 bad nights a row of shitty sleep, that'll fuck you up worse than skipping 3 days of workouts. It just does. Like physically, you don't feel good. And when your stress level is high and you don't feel great, it's just, it's harder, dude. It's just hard to recover. It's hard to come back. And I'm somebody who's, historically trained for a long period of time, being chronically sore, and having my body be beat down. And obviously there's seasons of life, like when you have to do that, when you have to go to work on less sleep, like, anytime you're starting a new business or anything that's a season of life where it's not ideal, you're going to be run down a little bit. So you have to kind of gauge your workouts accordingly and do what you can. Find a system and a routine to steal the minutes of sleep and de-stress any way possible. And I think for some people, if your body's run down from sickness, you haven't got a bunch of sleep, to go into the gym and beat the fuck out of yourself is not the best case scenario. I think oftentimes walking, doing mobility, and just going through, like practice mode of training is better through those seasons of life. So if you find yourself right now, you're super stressed because of whether it's work or family or changes in your life, and you find going into the gym right now is really hard for you and beating the fuck out of yourself is putting you further in a hole, I would kind of rewire the training and say, hey, what kind of training can I do that's not going to overly stress the body out? And there's different workouts you can do. There's things that we help our clients through when they have stuff going on like that. But I do think that's a huge mistake of, when you're already on the edge, beating the shit out of yourself with the hardest workouts possible sometimes isn't the best case scenario. Sometimes that is a great stress reliever. Sometimes, you can deal with your divorce by riding the assault bike really hard. Maybe that's the thing. But for some people, it's not. And so you kind of have to know yourself. But I do think neglecting sleep and not understanding how stressed you are and what's going on, like with your body and your hormones, is a huge one. And that's on the side note. Like I do think getting your blood work and hormones checked at least once, if not twice per year, is ideal. All of your stuff, all the blood work, in fact, for that matter. But a full hormone panel, I think, is ideal for a lot of people, whether it be thyroid, your testosterone, free, total, estrogen, your estradiol, everything that's going on in your system, just to see where you're at, just to have a baseline and kind of work from there. And then the last thing, for most people, this is the number one, just not having a clear plan and any accountability with that plan, for that matter. A lot of people, you ever seen that Shia LaBeouf? It's like a YouTube clip where he's like a green screen in the back and he's just screaming into it. It has like 10 million views. And he's like, just do it. And he like flexes. It makes no sense. I don't know if you know what it's from, but he's like, if you're tired, what does he say? If you're tired of quitting, stop giving up. Just do it. And he'll just like scream into the camera. First of all, the dude is one of the greatest actors of all time. Like he is amazingly talented. I don't know what the fuck this video is. Just Google Shia LaBeouf, just do it, and it will pop up. And it's like, it might be more than 10 million views. And it is like not motivational at all. Yeah, don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it. And he's screaming into it. It's amazing. Anyways, I don't know what that has to do with this, but that's no accountability there. My point is, that's saying if you're tired of starting over every couple of weeks, stop giving up. Just do it, and don't let your dreams be dreams. Now, the point is if you don't have a plan, again, I say this a lot on here. Obviously, I'm biased. This is what I do. We coach people here. We coach people on the app. But if you don't have a coach and accountability and a goal, you're probably not going to be successful. Most people aren't. Even the best athletes in the world, when they don't have that, they kind of fall off the rails. And that's why it doesn't work, because winging it and just trying to figure it out on your own, for most people, leads to burnout. And then they start over every couple weeks, or they program hop. They go from plan to plan to plan. Oh, this plan didn't work for me. This coach didn't work for me. And again, some programs might not be right for you. Some coaches might not be right for you. You have to have a certain amount of structure and a certain amount of support. Obviously, I do think a community is a huge piece of it, but most people give up, like I said, way before the results show, because you're putting in this Herculean type effort and you're not seeing the results yet. But it's like anything. If you started to say, hey, I'm going to, play the drums, or I'm going to play the guitar, and you did it for a month, you might be a little bit better, but odds are you still suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to get on the guitar and you're just ripping like Enter Sandman, and it sounds just like Metallica. Like, it takes time to do that. It takes time to change the physical body. It takes time to get stronger. It takes a lot of time to build muscle. It takes time to increase mobility. It takes time to lose a good amount of body fat. It just does. And if you don't have a clear path and a plan and accountability and like some support from a coach or community or a partner, it's really tough to do. When you're surrounded by, it's iron sharpens iron. When you're surrounded by a bunch of people who are savages, you're more likely to become a savage. If you're surrounded by dudes who are all super successful with money, the odds are you're going to be somewhere in that mix. You're not going to be, damn near, homeless and completely dead broke when all of your friends are super successful and crushing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially in the fitness realm. Like when you're constantly showing up and around people who train and are fit, there's a built-in accountability piece there. There's a built-in piece of I'm part of this community where this is the way we live and this is the way we operate. So for most people, again, I'm not saying you can't be successful by yourself. There is, the rare unicorns out there that have no friends that train. They don't talk to anybody. They just train by themselves, like in a garage, solo. I wouldn't be great at that. As much as I train here alone, I'm around a community of people who obviously value movement and value fitness. I physically train people who do value it. And then obviously once a week, I'm in here doing ridiculously hard stuff with people who also do ridiculously hard stuff. So that is very helpful to me. Without that, it's hard for most people to be successful long term. That's why I'm a huge fan of like the community piece of fitness. No, it's not me just being biased. It's like I see the most people be successful that way. So for most people, the fix is like follow a proven training plan and a proven nutritional plan or diet outline, whatever works for you, not just random shit. Like actually something that if your goal is to be, build more endurance or build more strength or build more mobility or all of the combo, your training kind of mirrors that. And you can go and do stuff you like to do. I think your skills shouldn't die in the gym. If you like to go play basketball or yoga or paddleboard, go do the stuff you like to do. But when you're training, you're not just quote unquote working out. You're actually training for something specific. So if it is to build more muscle or it is to be stronger, the training maps to that, or just overall fitness in general, that's what you're working towards. And then set clear goals and have some type of checkpoints. And again, I'm not saying you have to live and die by the metrics and the stats because I don't, but it's nice to know, okay, I can dunk a basketball. I can run a mile in under 6 minutes. I can still, deadlift 500 pounds. I can, whatever the thing is, you know where you're at and you have these little benchmarks you're checking in on. And, my lean muscle mass is this, or my VO2 max is that, or this is the way my clothes fit, or this is how I look in the mirror. All those things are important. And then obviously the accountability from a coach in a community, like we offer here, but anywhere you can be around other people who value the same things you do. And then obviously, surround yourself with others who are doing what you want to do. Surround yourself with people who, maybe they're not as great as you, but they still value it. They're in your circle. You surround yourself with people who are like at your level, and then you surround yourself with other people who are above you. They're stronger than you. They run faster than you. They have more mobility than you. But they've been training longer than you. Those are good people to have in your corner. It's nice to be in a place where you're not the best person at everything. And I think that's a huge piece. Like where I train here with these guys, I'm not the best here at everything. I'm just not. If we ran a race with all of our clients and it was a 5-mile race, I'm not going to win. Like, no fucking chance. If we ran a race of all the people that work here and it was a 5-mile race, I'm not going to win that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something to be said about that. If we did hey, we're going to do an Ironman of everyone who's in our gym, I'm not going to become first. Like, I'm just not. Like, and that's a good place to be. So like, okay, this guy rides a bike better than me. Okay, this guy has more, long distance running endurance than I do. Oh, this guy is, he can squat more than I can. Like that's a good spot to be in. And it's not that you're comparing, but you're seeing, okay, these guys are reaching these other levels. It's nice to kind of have that North Star there and know that you're training with a bunch of people who are going to kind of push you to make you better. And the long and short of it, those are the top 5 mistakes that we see our people make. And those are all the fixes we give them to kind of get there. So 1, obviously improving their eating because they can't out-train a bad diet. 2, getting rid of the all or nothing mentality when it comes to fitness and training in general. And on that same note, like in the all or nothing mentality, the same thing goes for fitness, not just nutrition. I know we talk about food with it for the most part, but the exercise piece is the same. Oh, I don't have an hour to work out today. That's okay. Do you got 5 minutes? Do you got 10 minutes? You can do a lot of damage in 10 minutes. Like if you can get on an assault bike and rip for 10 minutes, that's a good workout. That's a good day. If you only have 5 minutes to train, you're telling me in 5 minutes you can't do 10 push-ups in that first minute and 10 squats in that first minute. So by the end of 5 minutes, you did 50 squats and 50 push-ups. That's not a bad day. And if you had 10 days like that a year where you only had 5 minutes because you're so fucking important and you are so busy, you couldn't do anything else, You just did that. It's like 5, 10. I did 250 push-ups. I did 250 squats, and I doubled that. So that is 500 extra reps of each you did that you wouldn't have done. So that's what I'm getting at, is like that all or nothing mentality of like, I don't have, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you can do something, doing 5 minutes of mobility, you're pumping gas, you can stretch your calves. You know what I'm saying? Like little shit where it's the microdosing pieces we don't think matter. That's that non kind of exercise activity, the neat shit we talk about, the thermogenesis. The same thing works with the mobility piece. If you're sitting there at the airport, sitting on your ass for 42 minutes to wait for your flight that you're going to sit for 2 hours, that's 42 minutes you could have done some mobility work. You could do your couch stretch there. You can do 90-90s. You can do a basic, elephant walks, toe touches. Those are all basic things. You don't have to move around a lot. Yeah, some people might stare at you like, oh my God, that guy looks like he's stretching right now. And that person should probably be like, oh fuck, I should probably stretch too. But I'm too dumb. So I'm going to sit here and talk shit about him in my head and be tight as fuck and super sore on the airplane. Well, this guy looks like Rambo and he's going to be super loose and he's going to feel good on the plane. Everybody, they should just be literally in the airport. They should just have a box instead of just seats. It's just like, here's foam rollers and here's your mobility piece. Put your bag down and you guys just get loose because you're sitting to go sit some more. And then you're going to get off your flight and probably go sit in a car. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to sit to sit to sit. Why are we doing that? That's what I'm talking about, where people are like, I don't have time. Or if you don't want to do mobility, walk around the fucking airport, dude. If you have 40 minutes, you can get in 40 minutes probably, 5,000 steps in. So if you were only going to get a couple thousand steps, you could walk around the airport. And if you have a backpack on, well, you're rucking. Congratulations. Like this, it's really that little shit. Or instead of taking the escalator, don't be a fucking lazy ass. Take the stairs. Like those are the little pieces of the all or nothing mentality. You can steal, if you really want to be fit and really want to be healthy, you can steal these little minutes if you need to. Now, if you did all the work before, you don't have to do that. But that's an easy way to do it. So I'll leave you with this, you guys. You don't have to chase all the hacks and the little biohacking stuff of like, I got to do this much cold plunge or this much sauna, and I got to ground for this many minutes a day, or I got to suntan my balls or drink urine or whatever the fuck the newest thing is. Like, you don't have to do all that shit. You can if you want. It's fine. I'm sure there's some positive benefits to all of it. But that literally is like the sprinkles on top of the whipped cream, on top of the icing, on top of the cake. It doesn't really impact the overall, dessert itself. It's literally pennies, and you're jumping over $100 bills to pick up pennies when you're doing shit like that. At the end of the day, the most successful people we see here is they don't guess, they track. You look at anything in your life, if you were guessing how much gas you had in your car, you're probably going to run out quite a bit. If you're guessing how much money's in your bank account, or you're guessing how much money's on your credit card bill, you're probably going to fuck up. It's the same thing with the food. It's the same thing with the training. The people who track versus guess, they do way better. Also, the perfect or the all or nothing mentality versus the people who are just consistent and flexible, that's it. Everybody's like, I'm going to be perfect for a year. Good luck, bro. Like, you're not, if you're not great now, dude, it's like the people who win the lottery and they wonder like why those people go broke. Like, if you can't manage $1,000, how the fuck are you going to manage $100 million? You know what I mean? Like, so you can't go from like eating and drinking like trash and skipping workouts to being perfect. Maybe you can. I've never met anybody who's done it. So that kind of, I got to be perfect, all or nothing mentality, those people fail in comparison to the people who are just flexible and consistent with what they do. It's the not sexy answer. It's the people who just show up. And it's the old saying, chop wood, carry water. It's just over and over, just day after day after day after day, doing the same, just boring shit. You just show up, you eat right, you're doing the work. It's not, 100% perfect. And the workouts, you're not always dying every day, but you're always showing up and doing something. Those are the people who are the most successful. And last but not least, doing it alone versus doing it with a coach and a community and the support of that. Those are the people who do the best. Rarely do people do it solo. I guess there's some of that lone wolf shit out there, but for most of us, we need other people in our circle, whether it be a partner, friend, family member, a gym, a place like we offer here, even whether it be digital on an app or in person, those are the ones who do the best. So that's it, bro. Hot takes. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys. And again, if you find yourself making some of those mistakes, whether it be with booze or food or, skipping workouts, just know you can steal little minutes there and you can make little improvements. And I would tell anybody, don't try to do everything all at once, unless that's how you operate. I know some people do, like the cold turkey shit works for some people. Like my old man smoked, probably a fucking pack or two of cool menthols every day for 33 years. And then just one day he's like, fuck it, I'm done. I don't know how, I don't know why, but that's the choice he made. And he hasn't smoked in like 15 years. Pretty impressive. Most people don't do great with that. They hop back on the wagon. I've tried to quit a lot of things multiple times. I'm not great at that, but if that's who you are, then that's cool. But for most of you, I think just doing one little thing at a time. So right now, if you're eating and not tracking any days of the week, maybe just track one day. If you're doing no mobility right now, do 5 minutes every other day. If you're walking 3,000 steps a day right now, try to take it to 4,000. If you hit the gym 2 days a week, can you squeeze out a third day? Really just little shit. And if you don't, eat any real whole nutrient dense foods, like start eating some. If you eat fast food 3 times a day, just maybe eat it twice a day. Little shit, I think, shallow and deep end. Because again, there's a nice progression there. And it's nice to look back to, and if you're a journal person, you can journal, but just to see where you started and see how far you go. So, and like anything, I'd say give it, if nothing else, at least 100 days. But for most people, you can change your life in 6 months, like legitimately, like making one decision over another consistently day after day for half a year. You could be a different person. In terms of fitness, for sure, you can look better, move better, feel better, all those things within half a year. And there's really nothing else you can do in life where you can make that big of increase in progress in just 6 months. To get an ROI and anything else, like if you never played basketball and you're 45 years old and you start playing right now, in 6 months, you're still a bag of trash. You know what I mean? Like you're not good. Like for me, like what would be hard for me? Like a unicycle. If I started doing that, like 6 months from now, I still suck. And I probably like broke a hip or something on the journey there. Like this is the easy thing. This is one of the best things you can do for yourself in your life. And it's not rocket science and you don't have to be super talented to do it. It's not like a lot of other things in life where it does require a lot of talent. This is something anybody can do. It's just making one decision over another consistently over long periods of time, delaying gratification today for something that's going to happen 6 months from now. And then that 6 months is going to build on the next year, the next 2 years, and 3 years. And at the end of the day, I think most of us, the goal should be just to keep our stuff, be as hard to fucking kill as possible, obviously, and keep your stuff as high as you can. Keep your VO2 max as high as you can. Keep your muscle mass as high as you can. Keep your body fat in a healthy range. And just keep moving around, man, making sure you can still run a decent pace, making sure you can still jump a certain amount of distance, making sure you can pick up heavy stuff and move it around. Because the reality is when you're 85 years old, you're going to be weaker than you are today. Even if you take all the fucking Barry Bonds, steroids out there and your head grows 3 sizes, like you're still going to be smaller. Like you become more frail. Like even Arnold today is not Arnold from, 32 years old. It's like even the best of us, like that's the direction we go. So the easier, I guess not the easier, the sooner you can put these pieces into play, the better off you're going to be, in terms of longevity. I think that's the game. And not to say, hey, we just want to live to be 100, because if I was, 97, but I couldn't really move, like that's not worth it to me. I want to, be as mobile and as fit and as strong as possible for as long as I can. I don't want to be a frail old man until I literally have to be a frail old man. And then hopefully by then they have even better drugs so I can look like Rambo at 80. So we'll see. Anyways, you guys got questions for me, obviously hit me up. Hopefully this was helpful. I literally did this podcast out of the fly, just pulled it out of my ass because we had a scheduling mix-up today, which I'm about to send an email about. This motherfucker here. Anyways, if you guys got a question, hit me up. Jeremy Scott Fitness app is in there. 34 Day to Fit Challenge is coming to the app probably in the next week or two here. That'll be in there. All my weekly workouts, as you know. Mastering Mobility Program, which is a deep dive with me and BJ Gador. By the end of the year, if you want to be If you went through a microdosing mobility program, this is the next program I would do if you really care about it. And I think it's for everybody. Everybody should do it. Will everybody? No, because they're stubborn and stupid. But hopefully everybody will get on it. It's a game changer for you. It'll make your training better. It'll make your life better. Dudes will want to be you. Chicks will want to date you. It'll be the greatest thing ever. On top of that, if you go on a free sample of AG1, hit me up. I'm happy to send them to you guys. We got a bunch of stuff in-house here. I got a couple of boxes laying around. I'm happy to ship them out. We're shipping a bunch of stuff tomorrow. So hit me up. 10% discount on our creatine as always. Our stuff from JLab Pros in the show notes. Other than that, I got a free... Dilo and I have this huge free business resource for small to medium-sized business owners, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. The link's in the show notes for that. It's a free group. We answer a lot of questions about business, how to start a business, build a business. Dave has built his up to be super successful. I'm doing okay here myself for the past 15 years. We made this to help you guys. A lot of cool resources coming on that side just to help people kind of navigate the new landscape of the world with just AI and tech and community and what are the pieces that are most important. And then, if you're on Spotify, leave us a comment, drop it a 5-star. I'd appreciate it. If you are on Apple Podcasts, drop me a 5-star, leave a comment there as well. And if you really love what we do, give me a Google review. That always helps us out as well. And if you guys have ideas for the podcast or guest suggestions, obviously hit me up. I'm happy to share those. You guys who watch on YouTube, thank you as always. And you guys have an amazing rest of your Sunday. I'll be on next Sunday. I'm going to be here, right? Yes, July the 6th. 10 a.m., Dr. Emily Park. She used to be a pediatric anesthesiologist, and now she is a naturopath. So basically, she's a fucking genius, and I am a dummy. So that will be a fun episode. So hopefully she enjoys talking to me, because she knows way more about everything than I do. So we'll talk with everything about her, hormones, everything in between, pharmacology, medicine 2.0, 3.0, everything in between, and all that fun stuff. She's a genius. You guys will get a lot out of that. That's next week. Have a great 4th of July. If I don't talk to you guys before then, and until next time, eat well, train hard, be nice to people, and please, you guys, keep doing shit you love with people you enjoy because your life is too short not to. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.